Look at how pretty it is here. And I'm wearing, well, right now I'm wearing a t-shirt because I'm out walking, but boots, and earlier I was wearing sweatpants and a sweater, and the dog has a big old sweater on, and it's a little bit misty. Oh, it's so nice. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is that we went down to the plaza in the center of town, and I met a couple people there, a couple ladies from Lo de Marcos, which is the next town over from where I live in San Pancho in Nayarit, which is very, very hot. And we talked about how lovely it was to be here in the cool weather. And I said how much I love this little town. And she said, the one lady said, yeah, but there's nothing to do. What do you do here? And I just kind of cocked my head to the side, and I was like, I don't, like, for me, and I think for a lot of people, there's so much to do. Look at all this. Just being here. There's so much to be. And I don't need to do things. It got me to thinking about this culture of doing, and how I always say we're human beings, we're not human doings. But it's really interesting how everything in our culture revolves around doing. And how are you doing? What are you doing later? What are you going to do with your life? Do, everything's do. And I've started replacing that lately with how are you being, or how are you feeling? And I think it's very indicative too, and maybe this is getting a little more deep than I need to be, but of the fact that we live in a patriarchal culture that is really centered around the sort of logical doing, forcing kind of way of doing things, and just being. My little company's called Just Be, because it's so hard to just be sometimes. And I've had a lot of conversations recently with my friends about how we have these never-ending to-do lists. We don't feel like valuable human beings if we don't knock off a bunch of things on our to-do list every day. Why don't we start making to-be lists? What to be? What do I want to be today? Who do I want to be? How do I want to be? And stop with all the doing. And it's fascinating, I think, especially for those of us like me who I grew up with these very kind of 9-to-5 mentality family that was like, get a job working for someone else, and I'm just gonna admire this beautiful view, and do, and do. And if you don't get that job working 9-to-5 for someone else and doing stuff every day, then I still to this day, no matter how much work I've done around this, I still feel like shit if I don't get something done every day. And we've ignored the seasons. We've ignored the ebbs and the flows and the waxes and the wanes, and the tide goes in and the tide goes out, and everything in nature has cycles and seasons, but we're expected to be productive and be doing stuff 24 hours a day, or maybe not 24 hours a day, but for most of our lives, like 5 days a week, typically. And I know some countries have made it like 4, but really it's just about this idea of how crappy we feel about ourselves, a lot of us, myself included, if we don't get all our stuff done every day, and just this do culture. And I really want to just facilitate and curate the idea of a just being culture, of just being. And I want to encourage people, all y'all out there in the interwebs land, to ask, instead of saying, how are you doing today, say, how are you feeling today? Or how are you being today? What do you want to be? And if you don't know, that's okay too, because there's seasons, there's ebbs and flows, and there's low points where we're supposed to just rest. I think especially for women, we really have ignored there's so many cycles within the month where we should just be restful and be taking time to reflect and be introspective and tuning into our creativity and our intuition. And it's all been ignored and pushed down. I can get into a bigger conversation about the patriarchy, but anyway, that's my message for the day. So I hope that you're having a beautiful day, just being whatever it is that you want to be. I'm sending many blessings to all of you out there. Have a beautiful day. Bye.